So it's not going to be like an interview as such. It's more just going to be like a conversation. I've got prompts that we're going to use to take us through it, but it's more just to get an idea of the background of Pace and where Pace kind of came from and the backstory of both of you guys. But I'll kind of introduce the podcast a little bit first.
Yep.
It's going to feel like fake, like
Nah,
so that we're going to feel fake.
Weird to see when I used to do it back in the day. Alright, I think because it was all like. Oh, because it was on. Is this on now? Because it was on Zoom, it was totally different. But a couple of episodes we sound like.
So what was your setup that you had in the show?
Well, to be fair, I just went all in and I bought loads of stuff. I had like full mic, the lights, the lot.
It's like a soundboard and stuff like that as well. Like
Did you have something that looked like that, but it was like a physical?
It was like don't know what it was called.
and you edited it all. Like the whole thing was edited by you.
Yeah.
So like we constantly say the wrong thing or like things that like weren't PG we couldn't put out. Yeah. So you'd have to go through and fish it out. You wouldn't know where it was. Like right, we'll go back to that point in the podcast and try and find it and edit it all. So.
But it was like that was before lockdown though, so we started building that up. So and then lockdown came, and then we managed to get a lot more people on during lockdown.
Why did you finish it?
Because we came out of lockdown, and then obviously then we got this place. So I was actually planning on doing it in here, but then it was just quite tricky to do it because it was actually a lot busier than we thought it'd be. Like because we ran open gym first for like maybe 3 months, and then we got the classes going.
And to be fair, I was still in my old job when we were doing it. So I wasn't doing every podcast. He was like the main podcast host. To be fair, like I was in my job 9 to 5 Monday, Friday, and then at the weekends we'd alternate it. So like one weekend, me and Wallace would do like a podcast, just talking about whatever we decide to talk about at the time, and then the week after we try and get a guest on. So we were pretty consistent with getting a guest on like every second week, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Like, and it'd be decent people as well. It wouldn't just be like local friends and stuff like that. It'd be actual people who've like some.
How did you find presenting it? Like,
I actually quite enjoyed it, to be fair, because I do love to like just be quite inquisitive about stuff, like all these mad facts and that. So I would just get people on who I thought would be quite interesting, who maybe people wouldn't really know about, and then I would just like chat away to them, and then just kind of try and ask the right questions, like not the stereotypical stuff. But enjoyed it because like you would have to research the guests and then like think right, what angle can you take from this? So, but I think it was just a case of we were getting busier, and then I thought to myself like, are we getting a return on this? Because we got loads of like story reshares, people saying they love it and that, but at the time, because online coaching was just kind of brewing a little bit, you didn't really know how much you didn't really see what was going to happen in terms of people losing like a lot of trust in the industry. Whereas I think like the podcast is actually such a good way to break that barrier.
But we didn't know we didn't know that back then. Like nowadays, everyone's like start a podcast because long form content, get engagement with like your audience and stuff. Like back then, we just started a podcast because we wanted to. It's just like we had no like. It wasn't about right. Can we get more clients by doing a podcast? It's like right. We just love doing this so much. What can we do? Right. Let's do a podcast just talking about random stuff. I don't even know how it came about, to be honest with you. We just like I used to always go to his house every weekend, every Sunday, and just talk about random stuff. And I think like one time we're like right, let's just start making a podcast of this, and then that's what we did.
But it's funny. So even we had like mentors and that. They didn't even say at the time, "Oh, you should be doing that" and stuff. Like it was weird. But then it's just obviously
sit and chat yourself.
Yeah.
Like
the
system. You may as well put a camera and microphone on.
Yeah, there's literally no like, oh right, what client's gonna get on this? Like, how many views is this getting? We didn't care, and it was just I actually still to this day don't actually know why we actually did it. Like, I don't know why we took so much time out of our week, but again, it's just because we love doing it so much. I guess.
Yeah. I guess the thing is for me, I used to love like going on walks and listening to podcasts and that, and I thought quite good to do your own one. So that's kind of the main thing.
And now we're starting the Pace podcast. We need to figure out a name for it as well.
Driven by motion.
What was ours before? Discussions by dynamorph.
Discussion with dynamorph. Yeah.
We literally like just. I didn't even figure out that.
No, it was the thing that makes you logos like it's like
Fiverr.
It was all for that. It was actually decent.
And to be fair, that was like the first like because Fiverr like is really quite like you might get a decent like person doing it, or you might get like maybe horrendous. Literally the first one, I think the guy sent us over, and I sent it to him. I was like, mate, this is class. Like, and it was like what £10 for this logo, and it looked like legit. And I was like, right, discussion with the
when Fiverr first started up, it was class.
Yeah, unreal.
Everyone on there was actually trying to make a buck.
And there's just like it was so cheap as well. I was like, this is amazing. And then I sent him. I was like, discussions with Dynamorph, right? That's perfect. And then just bang from there. And I think we actually got to like, I think I said it before. It was like the top top 10 podcasts in the whole of Europe for like fitness and health. But to be fair, back then, like it wasn't what it is now. There wasn't like hundreds and hundreds of podcasts, and there wasn't as much money pumped into them. I think back then there's like Modern Wisdom and a few others, and then other than that, there wasn't really much.
We were so consistent though with everything we were doing. Like posting podcasts, even like YouTubes and that we were doing. that we were like relentless with it.
So going back to back then, like where did it all start for you, Wallace, initially? Like
But getting into like
getting
fitness
into
industry.
yeah. Like what was your background? I believe you were in football before, right?
Yeah, so the classic story of like playing football and then not really working out, and then the next best thing was like football coaching. So I did that for like two years. But then it kind of got to a point where I was getting into the gym. I was like watching all the YouTube videos and that, and then it got to a point where I was like thinking more about going to the gym than I was like at work, because I used to love my work, like working with kids and that, doing football coaching. There was a good buzz and stuff. But then yeah, basically got to a point I was like, I want to. Oh, basically, I seen guys like Christian Guzman. I don't know if you heard of him, but he like made his own gym and that, and he was just doing a wee bit of coaching. And I basically thought that's like the absolute dream, like, to do that. And then I realised that the dream was no longer to like push the football side of things, like still like dabble in it, but then just go into more fitness. I used to finish like work and just go straight to the gym, and that's all I used to do: train and watch YouTube. But then yeah, basically fast forward, came back, then did my PT qualification, and then got straight into it and actually started working at DW. Just no longer here anymore, but yeah.
Was there like a lot of that going on where people were building their own gyms back then? Like what was the actual industry like when you were first stepping into it? Was it mainly like corporate gyms like DW or?
Yeah, I think like America was good. Well, there was a couple of ones, but more down south and stuff. Like obviously we've seen people like Ollie Marshon and that, like doing it, but there wasn't actually loads of people, not in like the functional space anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I can really remember in America there was a lot of it, like, but I don't know if that's maybe just the people who are documenting it. So it's obviously social media is only really like, obviously it seems like it's massive now, but even like back then, like maybe 10 years ago, it wasn't as like big as it is now, I guess.
Yeah.
So you didn't really see, like I always feel like you just used to get your own like little sphere, and then obviously YouTube was a wee bit different. That's when you've seen like more overseas and stuff. So
I suppose like the information was not really accessible, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't happening.
yeah, this is it. Yeah.
What about you, Connor? Where did it begin for you?
Similar sort of thing. I mean, I like when I was younger, I got into the gym probably age like what 14, 15. I've always been like a naturally skinny guy, and I've documented it loads on Instagram. But I got into the gym just generally just try and get a bit of muscle on my physique, and then I just got hooked. I think what hooked me was that kind of guarantee that like I knew that if I kept on doing this, like eventually I'd see that return from it. Like it's almost a guarantee, provided I do things right. And then obviously I went away to America on a scholarship for 4 years, played football, basically you're almost like a full-time athlete plus getting your degree and stuff. And yeah, I loved it. It was like some of the best 4 years of my life. But quickly realized, similar to Wallace, that after probably like a year or so, year and a half maybe, like I liked football, but my main passion was the gym again still. And I kind of knew that going out there, and we'd have points like through the season and stuff where I'd try and go to the gym as much as I could when I probably really shouldn't have been. Try to get myself bigger, and it was having an impact, like a negative impact on my football and things. And I remember getting to like my last year, and I got to that point where like, right, I'm gonna have to get a proper job here after I graduate, which was in finance. But even at that point there, I knew like my real passion lay in the gym, and like I was doing programs for free for guys out there and stuff like that. And just like I always knew that would be where we get to. Like my main goal would be to like obviously have my own company, that sort of thing. But I never once thought it would kind of end up being like a gym, because again, as you say, like back then that wasn't really a thing. Like it seemed so far out of reach, because even guys like we're talking about Christian Guzman and stuff, like they never even had their own gym back then, and they were massive. It was like they just maybe have a clothing company, like that was the big thing back then, clothing companies and stuff.
Like Gymshark and all that.
Yeah, like everyone was trying to like make their own company.
Gymshark was such like
Yeah.
boom in the
Yeah,
industry.
literally, and that everyone was trying to make like their own clothing company. There's so many back then. Like the gyms weren't really a thing, and then eventually got to the point where boys like, for example, Christian Guzman started to make their gym, and it still at that point didn't seem quite like feasible. As you say, it was a lot of commercial stuff, like your DWs, your kind of Everlast, that sort of gyms and stuff, kind of about Valentine's and things. But then I came back, and then I think I was back for like a good few months, like fully back home in Inverness, and I think we just like banged into each other one day, like mutual friends and stuff, because he was working at the gym that I was training at, and we just started speaking, hit it off, and then like I don't even know what happened. I reckon just like obviously he was doing Dynamorph Fitness at the time, and I was like, getting into online coaching, and I was like, right, why not like jump in with him and do it together? Do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. And there was no like
figure out how.
Yeah, again, there's no structure to it or nothing. It wasn't like obviously now with us like taking on people like obviously with Reese, with Jack, and all that kind of stuff. It's like there's structure to it, whereas back then it was like literally just like two mates. Like I'm just gonna come on, do some coaching, put out some, like back then you put out a few posts with my top off, and like people wanted coaching. Do you know what I mean? Like I could have been the worst coach ever, but because I had like a decent physique, and the same with Wallace, people signed up to you. But because we loved it so much, we just like tried to make ourselves the best possible coaches we could. And then yeah, like he said before, we were just so consistent. That's what did it. Like every day, like I was working my 9 to 5 at the time. he'd do a post, he'd send me the post, I'd be on my lunch break at work, I'd be editing the post on Canva, which back then nobody really used Canva. It was like top protein sources and shit like that, wasn't it? And it's like I'm sitting there at my desk trying to move stuff on Canva and things, sending it to him. He put that out, and like every day we're putting a post out. Like I think it was every single day for a good, like I want to say like 2 years maybe. And that's, again, back then we kind of knew ourselves, like that's what's going to separate us from other people, is like that consistency. And then when lockdown hit, I remember we both said to each other, right, this is a really good opportunity for us to take advantage of this, in the sense of like not taking advantage of people not being able to do stuff, but take advantage of like being there to help people, because we knew a lot of coaches would have just probably like hid away again, which is fair enough because it was a tough time. But we thought, right, let's just try and be there for people as much as we possibly could. And we took out like a lockdown ebook and stuff and sold that for like a tenner. And I think we sold like hundreds of them. And I remember like the payments coming through, like thinking you're like rich and stuff like that. But it's just stuff like that. And I think just it kind of snowballed from there. And just we've always had the work ethic, and I think we both know how each other work as well. So we both play our strengths and weaknesses and stuff. So
that was actually quite a full circle moment as well. Ross Mackay, who's here, we did like a transformation challenge and that, just to try and motivate people, so they give them like habits to try and commit to, that kind of thing. And then we did like I think it was like a 12-week transformation challenge, and then gave away some money for it. And Ross Mackay, who's here now, he won it like at the time. And I remember after he was just, oh yeah, cheers lads, and that was it. And then just went and cracked on.
How much did he do?
He lost a lot of weight. Oh, you mean how much money did he get?
Money?
Oh, it wasn't like crazy.
I think we didn't have a lot of money back then, probably £100 or something.
Yeah, something like that. Like so, but it was more so like he lost a lot of weight, to be fair. But I remember actually seeing him on a night out before, and he's like, yeah, I was just committed that I was gonna win that. Yeah. He's a very competitive guy. But
Connor, did you have a moment when you were like, obviously you're in America 4 years, you said? Mm-hmm. Did you have a moment when you're out there away from everywhere that's back home, where you were like, football's not what I'm going to be doing, this is where I'm leaning into?
Genuinely, like probably like a year and a half in, I knew that. Like I kind of got to a point for a year and a half in, I was like, right, I'm not in love with this as much as I maybe thought I was.
Was there something that sparked that?
Not really. Like I know like people have that kind of like moment, but there wasn't ever really that kind of moment. I think it was just a case of I was going to the gym all the time, and you hear boys all the time, oh, I love the gym, but for me it was different. It was like, it's all I could think about, like genuinely, like, I mean, it might be like an eat disorder or whatever, I don't know, but back then I was tracking my calories religiously every day. I was doing everything. Like I was obsessed with figuring out how to be better and it wasn't even about coaching back then, it was about me. I tried to look better, be better. Like I was thinking about all this stuff, and just I became like overly obsessed with it, to the point where it was like every day. And I think it was like one time my mum or dad said to me, like, you're obsessed with this. And I just like, and I started thinking in my head, I was like, yeah, like it's gotten to the point now where like I should really think, right, can I do something with this? But even then, back then, it wasn't seen as such a career as it is now. Like everyone on Instagram now, it's like you see a lot of coaches and stuff, and it's this big career and thing, whereas back then it really wasn't. Like even when I quit my job full time to go all in on like online coaching, it wasn't like the thing to do, whereas nowadays it's quite common. But there wasn't really like one moment. I think when I was in my second year at uni, I realized I didn't want to play football anymore, but I was still in my head, right, I need to get a proper job. Like I needed like, I don't know, financial advisor, accountant, like that, like, do you know what I mean, the kind of bog standard jobs.
Do you think there was a little bit of pressure from that as well? Like I feel like there's sometimes that pressure in the Highlands.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, and that's the thing. Like I think there's pressure from both sides, in the sense of like my mum and dad. Like obviously I've gone out to America to make this life for myself, and like the idea that I had in my head was like, right, I'm going out there to do all this. I need to come back and get a really good job to show that it was all worth it. And then coming back to Inverness, it's like such a small town mentality. Like it's great, but I've touched on it before on Instagram and things, but people in America are so supportive, whereas here it's just like complete opposite. And it's not like they mean bad by it or anything, it's just a total different way of thinking. So like, again, when I left my job to go all in coaching, like there's more people saying to me, are you sure, versus yeah, go for it. So yeah, I guess it was just like, it got to the point for me where I was just so certain it was the right thing to do, and thankfully I went for it and it paid off. But yeah, there was definitely a pressure there, like there is for many people back then as well, and even nowadays when you're going through uni and stuff and not knowing what you want to do.
Whereas Wallace, you've never really been a part of like another industry, or you've only ever once worked for someone else other than yourself.
Pretty much, yeah.
Have you ever felt that pressure to step away from that and go into a different industry to get a proper job? I
don't know. I don't know if my personality would really suit like a proper job. I don't know. But I don't know, because the one job I did do, I didn't really do very well with, like, I think because mainly it's not really something I wanted to do.
Expand on the job.
So basically, I was a membership sales consultant. So basically just trying to sell gym memberships. And it kind of got to a point where I used to see the PTs like coming in and out of like the staff room or like their meal preps, and like you'd be asking what they've got their plan for the day, and they'd be like, right, I've just had 3 clients, gonna go home, like just chill, train, then come back and do a few more clients. And I was like, that sounds like an absolute dream. And then I think just selling the membership with not actually be able to help people. So I would like just sell them, and then sometimes you'd be selling people memberships and you don't even know what you're doing. Like, so I actually thought I'm going to go back to the drawing board and then get my qualifications, and then like sell myself essentially to then help people.
What was your drive for that? Like,
well, again, I think because I seen it online and I thought that looks class. I to be honest, I didn't like, obviously I wanted to help people and stuff. It was more so like I just loved like the lifestyle kind of thing. And then I guess like as you get more and more into it, you're like, right, this is actually like an opportunity to really help people and get to a place where you're at kind of thing. Because I wish I would have had that. Like, it would have just progressed that whole process for me a lot quicker.
And then you both join each other. When you get to that point of conversating about like working with each other, do you recognize gaps in the industry in Inverness or in the Highlands as a whole? Like, what was your goal for Dynamorph at the time?
Well, I think there wasn't really much like strategy or plan. Like, I remember we met up. I think our first meeting was like the upstairs Starbucks in Outfit. So if anyone's obviously listened to this local to Inverness, the old Outfit that used to be in, I don't know what's there now, New Look, yeah. So the Starbucks is still there, obviously. That's where we had our first meeting, and I don't even know what we said in the first meeting, honestly. I think he showed me a few kind of systems in terms of like trackers and stuff like that, and then again we had no real kind of substance behind what we were trying to do. Like, there's no like, nowadays it's like, right, we're gonna try and make this much money by this date, or do this and do that. It was like literally like, let's just try and coach as many people as we possibly can. And I think we quickly realized within the first probably few months of us working together, like we started dabbling into like functional fitness, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was like back then, again, doing burpees and stuff in your commercial gym was not cool. Like, people look at you like you're weird as hell. But like, we quickly realized, and it wasn't even like, we didn't even like try to take advantage of like a market emerging or anything like that. It was a case of like, right, we enjoyed that style of training. We know how good it made us feel. We're like, right, it's only a matter of time before that starts filtering into other people, where it's like you get a mix of looking good and feeling good. And that was like our tagline, wasn't it? It was like, look good. What was it? Look good.
Look, move, feel was the tagline.
Look, move, feel was the tagline, yeah.
You see so many people doing that now. Not that we probably weren't the first, but but yes, it's quite interesting. I feel like knowing Connor now and like what I was trying to implement, I reckon he maybe was seeing that and like kind of had, because obviously he didn't really know me that well, and I think he like seen what I was trying to do, because I don't really remember anyone else, like, because I was coached as well, so then I kind of took a lot of like their teachings and stuff, like having like spreadsheets, like no one was doing all that kind of stuff, and I think he maybe seen that, because you probably work with spreadsheets yourself, like or tracking all the data and stuff, and was kind of like right behind that. And yeah, we just kind of like started talking a bit more, and then I was in a place where I was kind of maxed out with PT, but then I didn't really see an opportunity to do anything online, and then I thought, well, if we're like getting on, he really wants to get into the fitness industry, it makes sense just for him to do like some online coaching, then also as well you're helping someone out kind of break into the industry as well, so. And then that's kind of grew from there. But then little did I know like how much an impact Connor would have like on the social media side of things. Like, he was like, oh, this is a good idea. And then I remember he just said to me, right, we just need to just keep going every single day. And then because it was fresh for me as well. And I guess like an extra, not that Connor was like an employee, because we just kind of worked alongside each other. It's very much like a gentleman's handshake. Like, you'll just take the money from your coaching clients, but it would just be under the brand. And then, it just helped massively with that. So, and then just build up. So
instead of recognizing gaps, you just did what you love to do.
Pretty much,
yeah. I mean, it sounds so like we're trying to portray that we're just like really good guys and stuff like that, but it generally was like we just wanted to help as many people as possible. And like again, like there's no, how much money can we make? I remember like we'd get like the inquiry forms would come through and it'd be like buzzing. I was like, oh mate, I got this inquiry. Like, do you want to take him? You take him or whatever. It's like, imagine having like 10 online clients. And then like back then, I'm thinking now it's just crazy. Like that was like this thing we tried to aim for, like 10 clients each. I remember us talking about like, imagine having that'd be insane. And then to kind of where we are now, it's insane.
I think actually when you started, it was like the first week or something like that, you were maxed out. I think.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I remember like everyone does it now. It's like, oh, I'm full, I'm this, I'm that. I've got like 3 spaces. I think when I first started, because I was in my full-time job, I was like, right, I've generally got like 1 or 2 spaces. But it kind of built off the fact that for years, to be fair, I was kind of known as I was in fitness. My mates knew it, like people in Inverness knew it, because again, it's a small town, small city. And I always had like a decent-ish physique, and I had gone from that guy who was really super skinny to like a bit more muscle mass. So it did help that I had that background to me, and I was posting stuff on Instagram before anyway, and then it just made sense, like logical sense. We got on so well, like we both, I think, could see each other's work ethic. Like we knew, like I used to see him in the gym all the time, PTing and things like that. And then once we got together, it was just like, essentially cheesy but unstoppable in terms of like he'd come up with ideas, I'd try and put them across on Canva, social media, whatever it is, and we just go back and forth, and it just worked really, really well. And I think because we had each other there to keep ourselves consistent, there might be one day where I'm in work and I'm like dead, and then he's like, right mate, we've got to do this, and he sends me it. Because he sent me it, I've got to do that, I've got to edit it, I've got to give it back to him. And like same for him, if he's like feeling up for it one day, I'm like, right mate, where's that post I've got to edit? And it's like just constant every single day. It was like literally Monday to Sunday, like non-stop.
Different angles as well, because obviously I was in the gym, so I was getting loads of ideas from within the gym, but then he was getting loads like the high protein snacks and stuff, because probably it's not really as accessible when you're in like the workplace all the time compared to like a PT, because I could just grab things on the go. So it's totally different when you're like actually like employed. So yeah, it's just little things like that.
So we'll fast forward a little bit just because of time, but pace comes around, or the idea of pace comes around. How? Where does that come from?
So obviously we opened this gym first of all under obviously the training club, and then just a few things happened, and then it made logical sense in terms of like the next step for business or the next development was to create this new brand, or rebrand based on the circumstances, and it made sense for, again at that time, myself and Ailey, my wife, we were together doing work, and because again going back a little bit, me and Wallace obviously opened the gym with our other business partners, so there's 3 of us opened the gym, and we were still working together as Dynamorph at that time, but then it got to the point where I was generally just so busy with my own stuff, and so was he, that we ended up just like changing. Like I made my own company and he made his own company, and it wasn't any like I don't even know how it happened. It wasn't anything bad, was it? Just like, oh, let's just make a like, because again at the time we weren't like with Dynamorph, it wasn't like right I paid him money or he paid me, or like we did anything. It was just like under this brand, but then we just like kind of separated a little bit. But again, there was no malice, there's no bad blood or nothing. Like we're still best mates.
It's almost like taking control.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah,
I think
literally
that was the main thing, wasn't it?
That's what it was, like just take control. Yeah. So we just wanted our own thing, and then I think with Ailey, she was getting into coaching and stuff back then as well, so it made logical sense because we were living together and stuff, got a house and things. Right, we'll come together and do our thing, while still doing the gym. But obviously back then, like looking in, like we can look back now and see it, but the way it worked, like we had our gym, the training club, and then we had each of our companies, like 3 different companies.
That was the big problem.
Yeah, within it. So it's just so hard. So it's so confusing for not only for us but also for people coming into the gym. So like what would happen is if someone was in the gym and it's like, right, I want one-to-one coaching as well, right, they'll go to that person and that automatically takes it away from the gym. Whereas now, because it's one actual massive brand, it's like, right, it's still within the gym, you're still part of that ecosystem, it's just you're going a different route now, and then they maybe come back to the gym. Do you know what I mean? And just it got to the point where like we felt like we can see where the industry's going, and we just thought we're at this point now where we can really make a big go at this. Do you know what I mean? And it's like really bring everything together, and just little things like, I think it says a little bit, like getting us all together, getting you on board, for example, is like nobody up here does that sort of thing. Like you're not getting like a full-time videographer on board, like just really investing in everything, and really going for it, because we can see other companies doing it across the world and UK and whatever, but nobody up here really does that sort of thing. So
I think that's a big thing as well. Like what attracted me the most to coming here to work was that I could see stuff happening in bigger cities like London, New York, LA, but it takes a while to get here, and you guys were taking that jump before that jump happened up here, and I think like you were kind of leading the way that way. What was that first conversation like where you were all sat down, yourselves and Ailey, and you were
I remember it's probably just typical for us. We were probably training.
I think it was just like some random, like
it was just like a spur of the moment.
Honestly, I think me and Ailey spoke about it first, because we just weren't sure what was going to happen in terms of kind of where we go with things, and then I think I mentioned it to Wallace at one time. I think it was just a passing comment. It's like, oh, it'd be so cool if we were like all working together again. And it didn't. I think for like weeks it didn't come about too much, did it? And then I think eventually, like, it must have been the year I got married, so it would have been what, 2024. Yeah. So December 24 I got married, so it would have been summer that year or just after. I think we said to each other like, right, we probably should think about doing this. Didn't really properly sit down and think about it because I was so busy at the time. And I think just into the new year we really started to kind of have a go at it. But I think we got you on board before then. So that summer we got you on board, or just after, I think it was. And then we saw a massive influx of just like, I think because we started being more kind of like out there on social media and stuff, and just again we put more into this place, didn't we? Like when we kind of changed up a little bit, we put more into it, because we kind of always knew it was going to go that way with that one big brand.
I think as well because it was just us two, and then obviously it was just like us two running it for like a couple of weeks, and then we also thought like our own business, and then I think we kind of thought, right, this is just not really feasible anymore to be doing your own business and then that as well, because you felt bad either way. Like if you were putting more into that, because it was just like, whereas before it was literally like 5 different businesses under one roof.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was so many people, probably people were like pushed certain ways, and to be fair, that's probably why what happened, because there was moments where other people pushed and other people didn't, and then you would see that and then get like frustrated because that person's not doing something.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like I think we just kind of like almost just had the agreement without even like saying it, of like, I think we're gonna have to put it
it
together.
makes total sense.
Yeah, it does. Like on paper, it was just, if I remember always saying, if I was looking from the outside in, I'd be like, why are you using it all like moving in the same direction? Because you're basically like pulling all different ways.
What is that direction that you're going in? So you've created Pace. What's the bigger picture? What's the 5-year goal? Where do you want to take it?
See, again, like that's the thing, like we obviously have goals, and I'll touch on that in a minute, but like I think similar to like what it was like with Dynamorph, it's like, I think the overarching goal has to be, how can we help as many people as we possibly can, whilst also like trying to spread our brand, spread our message and stuff like that. But then again, thinking more specific in terms of like longer term goals, obviously again, just to try and grow our member base, both in the gym and online and programs. And then again, I think just the biggest thing we need is a bigger facility. Like we've talked about that before numerous times. Like we're at the point now where we're maxed out capacity wise, which isn't a bad thing. But obviously a bigger facility is the biggest thing for the gym standpoint, but then also just like kind of growing our team as well. And I think right now, the kind of team that we've got with myself, Wallace, Ailey as owners, and then we've got obviously Reese, gym manager, coach, Jack, we've just taken on board as coach, Hughes, obviously creative director. Like I think we've kind of got this team, like
Kirsty as well.
Kirsty as well.
Shout out
Shit,
Kirsty.
probably Kirsty get in trouble for that. Kirsty's nutrition coach as well. So we've got this team where it's like everybody has like the same work ethic. We trust each other. We all know each other really well. Like again, Reese, for example, came on board with us at like a awesome time. Like I'll always be grateful for him for that. Like we were at a time where, again, we were still running our own businesses, myself and Wallace, and it was just me and him in the gym, and we were getting like overrun with like shifts and stuff. We were doing it all ourselves, plus our own companies. And literally, I think we put out a post pretty quickly, like who can come on board and stuff like that, any coaches. And again, you've been coaching Athena, Reese's fiance, for a while, like one of your longest standing clients.
Yeah.
And he basically, I think we reached out to him actually and managed to take him from his like full-time job here. And we kind of thought, right, we just need to do this and go for it. And I think he was doing online coaching at the time anyway, but he ended up being like one of the best decisions we ever made. Like a fantastic guy. And then I think just, yeah, him and then the team growing from there, and just everyone now is just a collective. Like we trust each other, like all good people, and like we're not just trying to take on people for the sake of it. It's like, right, we need to build a team here of like people who are fully bought into it, and again, not make that mistake before of having multiple businesses in once. So
have you ever felt that like that risk step, like the risk taken in that, or have you just always felt that the decisions you're making, you're like, we're doing this because it makes sense, and we're doing this because it's what we want to do?
I don't know, I think it sounds like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't sound arrogant, but because you are where you are and you built that up from nothing, you kind of think, well, if it did come all crashing down, you'd be able to do it again, kind of thing. And I think as well, we're always on edge anyway about like all falling apart, so like I think we would have the ability to just push on.
It's like,
anyway.
do you have that a lot?
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
posted the other day,
Yeah.
Connor, on your stories that like having that fear of it all just disappearing. Like,
Yeah.
do you guys
You have it.
think
You have it a
about
lot more than me. I think
Yeah.
I'm a bit more relaxed.
I just think I'm just, it'd probably like be like some childhood thing or something, childhood trauma or something. But like I'll go through spells where like, I said this before to Ailey, I've probably said it to you guys as well, but like I'll have days where I'm like, I can do whatever that, like I can, like we can grow this business to whatever we want. And there's other days where I'm like, crap, this could all come crashing down like tomorrow. But like I've said before, like I would never ever in a million years like let something like that ever happen. Like I'd always, like I'd work myself to the bone to make sure that wouldn't happen. I think that's why I'm in business with everyone else, like these two guys, like Wallace and Ailey, because I know they'd be the exact same. It's like when push comes to shove, like they're not just going to shit themselves and back down. Do you know what I mean? We're going to like keep working harder. So, and that's the thing with business. Like you're going to go, and I know that from experience with like again just my old job and other things like that. Like I know that things aren't always going to go really well, but you've got to take the highs with the lows and stuff like that. But yeah, of course you get that. Again, it's gone easier over the years. Like I think when we first started doing online coaching, like, and you're getting a load of clients, you're like, this is all going to come crumbling down. But then as you start to kind of build those reps and that repetition of like, you know what, like I know what I'm doing here. Like we're going to be fine. Like we know what we're doing in this situation and all this kind of stuff. And you're still going to make mistakes, of course, but like I think we're pretty confident now that like we can kind of do whatever we really set our mind to. And yeah, there is that risk of taking on someone full time, like we're just taking Jack and taking him on board full time. And yeah, there is a risk there, but we're never going to like let that happen to the point where
it's a calculated risk.
Yeah, it's
even
like
if it didn't work out.
Yeah, so it's like it's not like we're taking on like we've got like no clients there and we're taking on people we can't afford to take on and stuff. But it's like right, there is a risk there, but it's like it's a risk that's worth taking.
Yeah,
They wouldn't do anything like crazy, like
Yeah.
it would be a level to, but even like opening this place was like a risk.
leaving your job was a risk.
Yeah. Like it's one of these things. Like even like I remember when we first got the place, like us two and our other business owner, I think like we're on WhatsApp chatting, and like right, let's get this money, and it was like I went in for like a personal loan, which you're not supposed to do for a business, but like back then it was all you could do because it was lockdown. And I remember just getting this money sent across. Like I applied for this personal loan on my bank account. Within like a minute, I had all this money in my account, and I'm like, holy shit. And I was like, right, this is a risk, but you're just so like, I don't know how to explain it. Like the blinders were on. You had this like plan for like we talked about it for ages, to be fair, and you just like we just went for it, and then that was it really. So.
Right, we won't go too long, but a couple more questions just to round us off. What, in your guys' minds, maybe just go one at a time, what sets Pace apart in this industry, in the Highlands, compared to everything else that's going on? Like, what's your thing that you're most proud of that's like, we're doing this a little bit differently?
I wouldn't even say like sets it apart as such, because everyone has their own opinions of like what the best gym is, and what the best coaching is, all that kind of stuff. So I'd say, and it sounds so cliche, but probably just like being ourselves and that. Like when people come here, they always say like, it's so nice that you are just like you guys. Now, obviously there's a level of like coaching to it, like and being serious and stuff, but I guess like our ability to mirror people, that kind of thing. But obviously our coaches will be able to do that as well, so it's hard to say if that would like set us apart. I don't know, like sometimes I think like nothing really sets us apart, but just like you kind of focus on yourself and like you don't really see what other people are doing, I guess, so you're just like, it's going well, so it's just we're doing something right kind of thing. But yeah, I guess you don't really look that much, so it's not the best answer, but I guess just doing something a little bit different, like even like the merch and stuff like that, and just holding our standards really high with everything we do, I think, and just like committing to it and make sure we just continually do it, like stick at it, even like with the programs and that, like bringing someone else like that is a bit different and just sticking with it. And then
I suppose like you're innovating as much as you can when the possibilities are, and it's quite like a humble answer because you're
and I don't want it to come across as like trying to be a bad. I just generally don't know, like
you're not wanting to say like we're the best gym because you're not.
You just don't know if exactly because you could say that, but then someone else could go to a different gym and say, well, that's the best gym.
That's probably what sets us apart though. It's like we're not like that. Like we don't have
like what and like we're not really, or you guys aren't really salesmen here. You never really have to sell a membership. You're not doing what you used to do in your old job. Do you know what I mean? You're forcing people to come in that don't want to come in. Mm-hmm. But is there something that you're proud of, Connor, that maybe an ethos or something that you've brought into Pace that kind of makes it what it is?
Yeah, I think like a good example actually, and this is generally a real story. This happened this morning. I was getting my hair cut with my barber, and he bumped into one of our members on a walk, Gemma, and she basically was almost like inviting him to Pace and telling him how good it was and things like that. So, and he actually said to me himself, he's like, it's just so cool how you've built something where like I'm out for a random walk with my mate, I bump into this girl and she's just bigging up this company. And the biggest thing for us is when people come in here, like myself and Wallace, we always said this, like we're never going to be different. Like we are what we are. You come here and you get what you see, do you know what I mean? But it's just creating that place for someone where they feel so comfortable and like this is like their home, and it's like they're in an environment where everybody's on like that similar kind of goal or similar kind of progression of trying to be the best version of themselves without sounding too cheesy, but then also having fun, having a good time, and then just building something for them as well, because obviously there's people who have been here for years with us, and it's now like they'll start to see how we've developed as a brand over the years, and we're always trying to do better and do better and do better. Like for example, where we're sitting right now, this didn't always look like this. This used to be like some sweaty office that was built off like whatever money we had when we first opened, whereas now, like for example, we've invested loads of money into this. And I think it's just always trying to create the best place for our members and our community, both in here and online as well, and just trying to always think of like, right, what's the next thing we can do to make it better, to make it better, to make it better, and never standing still really. And I think because we've got such a big team now where we have different ideas and different ways of looking at things, it helps it so much more because we've got different aspects of what's going on. It's no longer just me and Wallace. It's me, Wallace, Ailey, and then we've got you, we've got Reese, we've got Kirsty, we've got Ailey, do you know what I mean? Are just so much better, so yeah.
Last one, what excites you, Wallace?
About what? Just Pace and like the...
What are you excited about at the moment? It could be in your own personal journey, it could be Pace.
Hi.
Could be competitions coming up.
I guess like the evolution of like us, I guess, because now we are getting to a stage that we obviously still are going to be doing coaching, but now that we've got more and more employees, it's going to have to get to a stage where we do take a bit more a step back. Obviously, we still will do coaching, but just like a more condensed group probably. So I guess quite excited to see how that goes, and then just be able to shift more into like the business development. Like I've never really seen myself as like a proper like entrepreneur, business owner, but I guess putting that kind of hat on will be quite an interesting journey. And then just more experiences. Like again, this is my own kind of personal one, but I always wanted to be able to take like athletes abroad to do like CrossFit competition and stuff like that. So getting that experience this year, so like little things like that, and be able to do more of that because of what we built. So then having the opportunity to go away, like now we're definitely in a position to do that because we work like together. Like even like Connor's like financial mind comes in handy with like the way we can like just finance stuff, that kind of thing. So just that kind of more growth, put ourselves out there a little more. And just like even the other day I was saying to you about doing, well, I don't know if you want to include this, but because then people might copy it. But even just doing like different events, like putting our brand out there. I guess that would be the kind of way of quoting it. Yeah.
What excites you, Connor?
Yeah, kind of similar. I think just thinking kind of where we were maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, and thinking where can we be in like 4 or 5 years. Then also just think as well, maybe like getting some time off eventually. Like I think we just work so much, and we always talk about it, and it's kind of testament to what we do. Like we love what we do, so difficult, but like it is like a 24/7 job. Like you're on all the time, and even when you're not on, you're still on. So it'd be good to eventually have some time where we again growing a team, we can kind of pull back a little bit at times, just to actually like spend some time doing other things apart from this. But like the main thing would be just kind of seeing where we are in 3 years' time, because where we were 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, where can we be in the next few years? And obviously we're getting older now as well. Like I'm 31, you're what, 31 as well?
Yeah, 30.
30.
Yeah. He's older.
So like we're not among we're no longer like amongst us. We're no longer 22, 23, 24. Do you know what I mean? So that's where we've quickly seen that like we need to get like Jack, who's like 21, 22 on board, and just again, we're getting older and we have to move with the times as well, and then our brand has to do that also. And I think we said before as well that like yes, online coaching is and always will be a thing online, but a lot of people, I think because of lockdown and stuff, are like prioritizing relationships and that kind of like human interaction. So I think just understanding that's gonna be a big thing moving forward as well. So yeah.
I think it's like just not just thinking about coaching, it's more like how we can grow the business and stuff. Because I wouldn't, like for me personally, even when I owned the gym, and like obviously you would say to people like I want a gym, but you never actually felt that you're still just like a coach in the gym and stuff like that. You never really felt like you were moving it forward as such. And
you just had a brick and mortar.
Yeah, literally, that's what it felt like for me anyway. Even like when we had staff and that, it never really kind of, it sounds bad, but never really took it seriously. Which is maybe a good thing. I think the staff probably loved it because it was so relaxed with that.
It's all lessons learned as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But then I also think that for them, it's maybe been a good experience for them to grow and like be themselves and all that kind of thing. And also as well, like, Adam, for example, I still speak to him every day and stuff like that. So I guess
and
it shows.
They'll take that ethos with them as well. Like, if they were to create something themselves, they'll bring in an element of that. I'm sure you guys have mentors that you take into your own coaching. So.
Yeah. Well, even that, like just knowing what kind of boss to be and stuff like that. It sounds weird to say, like I couldn't really see myself as like a boss, but and just finding your own way of doing it. Like I've just found myself like being someone who's quite close to like members of staff and that, and building good relationships, that kind of thing.
Thanks a lot. Don't know how to end these, but well done.
Goodbye. Yeah, see you in the next one.
I feel like I could sit and talk for ages.
I know, it was good. I enjoyed it. I know, it's
time.
like, what do you keep on talking about? Just keep going, couldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was kind of sticking to like the track there, but I feel like we could have gone off so many tangents into different areas.
I think there is, like, when you start actually speaking about it, you realise there's actually so many different avenues you go down with.
Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of podcasting compared to interviews. Do you know what I mean? Where you can just.
It helps having you there, like, because we could have went on a mad tangent.
Yeah.
That could have went
Keeps
crazy.
on track.
Literally.
Sick. Well done.
Sweet.
Good.